Good morning and welcome to our Marketplace Matchmaking Marketing, How to Leverage the Power of B2B Consumer Platforms webinar. Oh, that's a long name for a webinar. But this webinar is part of a series of webinars we're doing together with Business Finland's Food from Finland and Experience Commerce programs. And today I'm very excited and extremely happy to host this webinar together with ECRM, which is one of the leading companies in connecting suppliers with buyers. So my name is Lili Lehtovuori and I'm based at Business Finland Vienna in Austria, where I'm heading our food industry expert team and our global opportunity work. And today we are talking about the opportunity with digital platforms. But in case you have any questions regarding the European market, so please be in touch with me, but also with my colleagues in Germany, France, UK, and Sweden. As said, this webinar is part of the B2B platform webinar series. So we already had a webinar with Anchor Store, which is a wholesaler platform targeted to lifestyle stores. Then we had a webinar with Architonic, which is a marketing platform for design companies. Today we have ECRM, and we will continue in the fall with the webinars, and we will have a webinar with Retail Me, which is a platform for the grocery retail channel in Germany. ECRM is a very experienced company in matching buyers with suppliers, and during the pandemic they have successfully transferred their services to digital platforms. So today William Taimensen will present the RangeMe platform, and then Bruno Augusto will tell you about the ECRM category programs, and we'll also share some supplier and buyer experiences. And we will have a Q&A session after William's presentation and after Bruno's presentation, so please post any of your questions or comments to the chat. And this webinar is recorded, and we will send you the recording and also the presentations afterwards. And in case you're interested to have a one-to-one meeting with ECRM later on, so we will post Bruno's calendar to the chat at the end of this webinar, so you can book directly a meeting with Bruno via that link. So now, without further ado, now I would like to give the word to ECRM. So Willem, please, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. I'm going to take about 20 minutes time to give you guys a quick introduction of RangeMe, who we are, what the platform looks like, some of our partners, and how to make the most of it. So I want to share one slide before I'm going to dive into a couple of our partners. So right here, you can see basically the core solutions of the RangeMe platform. So on the one end, we help create a route for suppliers into retailers. So right now you're using social media, LinkedIn, you're sending emails, you're sending text, you're even sending unsolicited samples to offices in order to get noticed. And what we've done, and I'll show you in a second, is create a route that standardizes this and make sure that it ends up with the right buyer at the right time. And on the other end, the platform is basically a vast database. There's over 200,000 suppliers on there in 44 core categories, ranging from anything to do with grocery, health and beauty, but leading all the way to tractor supplies in the US. So it is extremely broad. And what we do on platform with our buying teams is we help make sure they pick the right categories, so their view and their experience on platform is focused on what is important to them. Some of our partners and the routes we create can be found here. So this is Tesco. We've got a partnership going on with Tesco. And if you go to the PLC website /innovation, you will find Tesco's Red Door. And right here is the embedded link of RangeMe to submit your product. So if you are a prospecting supplier, this is where you would go. And this is then where you could create your free profile. And that's important to know. RangeMe works on a similar way LinkedIn works. So there is no pay barrier for you to submit to retailers. It's always free, but you can opt in for a premium model. So if you want to get additional insight, get additional features, that's where the opt-in model comes in. And about 3.5 to 4% of our total 200,000 supplier database uses a premium model. And the same thing goes for Co-op. So on the Co-op website, you can either go to their mission and their suppliers, or scroll down to the bottom and click Become a Supplier. And what Co-op has done very well, I think, is create this intermediate page where they explain a bit about their strategy towards suppliers, whether it's farming or fair trade or British made. And then right here, there's that link again that links to the landing page of rangeme.com/co-op. And as you can see, it's the same look and feel. Again, you can create a free profile or login, select the products you want to submit. Each of these retailers often also has custom questions within this flow. So besides the standard information we collect in a supplier profile and a brand profile, there's also additional information each retailer would like to collect. And I know Co-op, for example, they're really looking into being carbon neutral by 2030. And one of the questions is how you as a business are working towards being carbon neutral as well. For Asda, a similar setup. So asdasupplier.com. There are two features here. There's general submissions. And the cool thing Asda is doing is they've got a nurture program. So every quarter, this program runs, and every quarter they accept submissions and they get evaluated, and the best pick get to go to store. So what they've actually done is they've created this gondola in store, and right now it is live and happening as we speak. There's about 14 brands on here. This is the first nurture campaign we ran, and 8 of these suppliers actually came via the RangeMe platform. And if I'm not mistaken, all of them were with a free profile. So it just goes to show that a free profile can actually get you to shelf with one of these major retailers. What does the platform look like? So that's right here. You can go to the homepage first. Any buyer, this is a buyer's view, by the way, any buyer logging in, we train to first go to settings. As I mentioned, there are 44 core categories that drill down into about 1,700 subcategories. So it's going to be vital for us to make sure each buyer selects the category they're responsible for in order to view the right submissions that are meant for them. And as you can see right here, you can really drill down in what it is that is relevant to you. And you can select or deselect the things you're looking for. And it is very much self-serve, and we all know buyers do move around a lot. So if the beverage buyer moves to food, all he needs to do is untick this one, and tick food, save accordingly, and his whole experience will then revolve around those categories. Additionally, there are saved searches. So we also recommend buyers to put up saved searches. So when they're looking for something, they can set up these parameters. And we've got about 10,000 new suppliers coming on board every month. And if any of these suppliers hit those search parameters, these buyers get a notification. It could be a daily or a weekly notification, but at least they know that something new is coming onto the platform that matches their needs and they can dive into it. Additionally, they can manage their notifications, and that includes supplier contact. For a supplier, it is vital to know that the way you reach out to these buyers is via a submission. There's no way to open up a two-way communication just yet. It is really up to the buyer to then respond to you as a supplier and open up this conversation. That's when it becomes a two-way street. It will remain on platform for as long as it takes until the buyer will share their contact details. There's also sample settings. So each buyer can request samples on this platform. They can add their home address, especially during COVID. That was quite handy, of course. Additionally, there's sample instructions. So it could be second building, third floor, leave at reception, address to. whomever, and please do pay customs if applicable. And lastly, there's also custom responses. So we capture the standard information in these supplier profiles and in these brand profiles. We capture custom questions for each retailer, and each buyer can then additionally add some custom questions as well. So they might have some questions not covered in the other data collection segments. This could also include a file they'd like you to fill in, for example. Once this is all set, you can go to the browse page, and this is basically where it all happens. So on top, there's the search bar, there's keywords, and it's good to know for all suppliers that you've got ample space in your profile. Use all the relevant keywords that are important to your products, important to your brand, because the algorithm will help you out here if you put in full descriptions to make sure you are on top of the search results. The submission tab, this is then where all these submissions come in via the links on the websites. Right now, I'm emulating an empty shell, so you won't see any true retailer submissions. But what you do see is the advanced submission filters. And this is the additional layer of filtering we can input to make sure a buyer knows who they are speaking to. So it could be that they want to know whether or not you're branded or private label and what percentage of your business is branded or private label. From here, you can then start using all the filters as a buyer. So maybe you are the snack buyer and you also want to look at candy. You could look at the distribution area, so where these suppliers can distribute to. You can have a check for Europe. We do collect a whole bunch of certifications, and this is one of the key search features buyers use. So if you've got any relevant certifications listed to your products, do make sure you put them on your profile, because this is a highly used feature. They can also look at the origin of the product. So we can have a look at what is originating from Finland. And right now we've got 8 brands with 54 products. You can toggle whether or not they're private label capable. Are they shared with me? There's a feature in the platform where buyers can share amongst each other. If they see something of interest that might not necessarily resemble or fit into their category, they can just send it over to a colleague. They can look at pricing, so margin, RRP, and cost. Product count, do you have the one hero product or do you have a wider portfolio? Company revenue, again, are you in the startup regions or are you more established? And the Range Me Verified aspect, that's more, that's the premium subscription model, but it's right now very much focused on US business. If you are then a verified member, we've checked images, we've checked barcode information, insurance, we've checked business type, nutritional info, packaging, basically everything a buyer needs to know that the route to shelf is easier for them. We are working on a feature for Europe, but we're translating the subtleties from a US business focus model to a European model. So once you've entered all these filters in, you can have a look at the brands that match what you're looking for. So we can have a look at Goodio, for example. Right here, you can already save, you can request a sample or start a conversation. Or if you want to dive in a bit further, you can have a look at the profile itself. And this is where it becomes a bit like LinkedIn. So you can have a look at all the products underneath, the company right here, the trade shows they attend, their current listings where it's currently already sold. You can have a look at the profile as well. So about Goodio, they've added a video right here. So all these features are available to you as a free member as well. And then you can dive into a product. And basically this is all the information a buyer would need to, in 30 to 60 seconds, get a good idea of the product and whether or not there could be a match. So you can look at pricing, you can look at certifications that are relevant, any trade shows they attend if you're going there as well, product information, their USPs are right there, well, country of origin, and it drills down all the way to distribution capabilities, barcode information, and product dimensions. And it doesn't matter what brand you click into, it's always got the same look and feel. So if we're looking at Otis, Finnish company, revenue, There's a profile as well. They haven't yet added a video. And right here, again, all the information that is required to make that first evaluation. And always there's the option to save, to sample, or to start a conversation. Additionally, for buyers, there's an option to really stay on top of trends. We've also got collections. So if you, the first search parameters are really for if you know what you're looking for, so you can really drill down. If you want to be more surprised, because you don't know what you don't know, so you can have a look at retail trends. We've got a feature, we've got an API with Instagram. So the Instagram account joined to the profile will filter through. And this way you will get 100 brands with 100 products within the categories you've selected in your profile. So this way a buyer can really stay on top of what is happening and what is trending. And from here, they can again dive into each one of these products and brands and have a look. And there's a number of collections we've got. This is the trending on Instagram. We've got top performing products in Nielsen, but also sustainability, supplier diversity, which is of course a very big thing in the US, plant-based, and it drills down all the way to certified members, for example. So this is in a nutshell what the platform looks like and how you can make use of this platform to get your products in front of buyers. Make sure you are complete in your profile. The more information they've got on beforehand, the easier it is for them to make these decisions. And when you look at submitting to one of these retailers, as I mentioned earlier, there's custom questions in there as well. Take your time to answer these. The example for Co-op is that they are looking to be carbon neutral by 2035. It's also one of their questions. Basically stating we are looking to be carbon neutral by 2035. What are your initiatives to take care of the climate? Or is the climate very important to you as well? If you then answer with just very, while you have a text box with 400 characters at your disposal, use the whole text box. This is then the moment for you to stand out. And so are all these other questions. Take your time to answer these. So we've already launched in the UK, and we've already got a first partner in the Benelux as well. The partners in the UK are Tesco, Asda, Co-op, and Iceland in the grocery space. There's also Boots, Lloyd's Pharmacy, Feel Unique, and Just My Look. Those are all in the health and beauty space. And there's Holland and Barrett Benelux for the Benelux area. And we are looking to expand in the Benelux first, and then try to scope out what country would be in next. We're eyeing Germany, we're eyeing France, but that's where a language barrier might come in. So we're also looking at the Nordics and Portugal, because the English proficiency in these countries is a lot higher than it is, for example, in Italy or Spain. So our plan is to gradually start expanding and have the same market penetration as we've got in the US, where about 80% of the top 100 retailers use our platform already. And I think overall there's close to 16,000 buyers using the platform to find innovation, to source new products. Always allowed to reach out to me and to Bruno. But it is very much a self-serve platform as well. Once creating your own profile, it is really a hand-holding process through this whole step-by-step motion to get first your brand online, then your first product online. It is really about filling in the blanks and then be as creative and be as complete as you want. So within each brand profile and in each product profile, there are mandatory fields, there are recommended fields, and there are optional fields. And as I mentioned earlier, a buyer would like to get a good idea of the product within 30 to 60 seconds before they move on. So make sure you are as complete as possible. That's my recommendation. Right now, we don't have ordering in Europe. So it's really about getting discovered and working towards partnerships and communications with retailers. So it's not about the deal altogether. It's really about getting connected and getting your products in front of these buyers. We do not partake in these negotiations. We do not take a cut of any deal made. It is our business is really to make that connection. And once you connect, whether that's first on platform and then off platform, that's really up to you and the way you'd like to work. So that's correct. Yeah, I'm just viewing the questions coming in. So yes, the agreement is always between retailer and supplier. We do not participate in that agreement.
Good morning, everyone. So today, myself and Willem, of course, I work for ECRM. Willem works for RangeMe. RangeMe is a sister brand of ECRM, so we work very closely together. But we're here today to, well, you're here today to find out how to accelerate B2B platform, and we're here to explain how we're trying to revolutionize the way that buyers and sellers do business. So we're all very well aware that there are multiple B2B platforms out there. You have your trade shows, you have webinars, online meeting platforms, online directories, the list goes on, but all of which have been implemented to transform how buyers and suppliers currently do business. But how can we do this more effectively? What does the industry actually want? Of course, with many suppliers here, we're probably all well aware that companies, well, a lot of companies are no longer budgeting such large expenses, such as trade shows, including the travel, the accommodation, the refreshments, as it is sometimes very hard to measure the ROI on a stack of business cards. We do find that some events can be quite inefficient. They only happen once or twice a year, and it can be quite problematic if you're a buyer as well, having to walk hall to hall to find a company that is aligned with your objectives. Directories, again, not always perfect. Takes a lot of time to go through long lists of data, as well as digital solutions. Again, not always very effective, even though we come from a digital solution, because you do still have to do your own matchmaking, going through, again, huge list of potential prospects, and hope that these prospects also agree to meet with you. So in conclusion, you need a company that is doing all of it for you. And I will take you through 2 or 3 things that ECRM in collaboration with RangeMe does differently. Go to this slide. So this is what a buyer looks like. Very similar slide that Willem also had on RangeMe. And it's a good example of everything that they have to go through. Reviewing hundreds of applications, receiving daily sales calls, emails, attending multiple B2B platforms. It is not a surprise that one of the biggest constraints for buyers is their time. And this is what we hear from them. They can't review all of those supplier submissions, let alone meet with these suppliers in whatever way possible. The timing sometimes of these applications are not relevant now, but may very well be relevant further down the line. They can't afford to spend time connecting with suppliers that do not meet their requirements. And lastly, they need to ensure that the suppliers they do meet with have the exact options that their customers are looking for. Now, on the flip side, what do we hear from suppliers and sellers? First of all, the lack of transparency in many of these B2B platforms makes it extremely difficult to contact key buyers. Even if you submit your brand profile, the entire process that follows is absent. The costs of attending trade shows are not cheap. You may very well be forking out between 10,000 to 15,000 euros for an event and having to do them multiple times a year. And lastly, of course, each organization has different requirements, and I'm sure it can be very challenging for suppliers to tailor accordingly as well. So how does ECRM, or how do ECRM and RangeMe help tackle these main pain points? Well, first of all, the services that we offer are very particular for a differentiated shopping experience. We organize category-focused programs and ensure that we are bringing fresh insights, innovative emerging brands, and ensuring that these brand owners and category buyers are connecting at the right time, as well as provide RangeMe, which is the world's leading product discovery platform, which Willem has fantastically demonstrated. So looking at our products from left to right, you can see here that it is a level of personalization and is what we recommend for the industry to follow. So if we start with RangeMe, again, a complete self-serve, which is great if you know exactly what you're looking for. But following on from this, we have multiple retailers that actually come to us and ask us to develop a supplier discovery campaign specifically for them. So what this means is that we can use the RangeMe platform to specifically target a group of companies that match the exact requirements of that retailer. We can then send them targeted emails and marketing, of course. Something as an example would be, again, Asda is looking for suppliers in their upcoming nurture program, or Co-op is looking for upcoming suppliers to their incubator scheme. Now, a sourcing campaign, it's a merge between the RangeMe platform and the ECRM category programs. But basically what happens is that both the supplier and the buyer will effectively meet on ECRM Connect, which is a software that we use to host the meetings. Then if we go to the ECRM program specifically, we do category specific programs. As an example, if you're in the food and beverage industry, and of course, you might have a chilled product, you might have a frozen product, an ambient product, which is sold at room temperature, beverage, snack and confectionery. And we make it category specific because we want brand owners to meet directly with category buyers of the retail partners that we're working with. And then the summit, typically only the largest retailers book the summits. They simply tell us what they need in terms of products, and ECRM will just cherry pick those suppliers that we really believe can work with that retailer. And then we'll look at stuff like labeling, packaging, the ingredients, retail prices, etc. Our contact information, by the way, will be shared afterwards, so we'd be more than happy to have a conversation with anyone interested in our total value proposition. And in the first instance, we always do discovery calls to ensure that what we can offer is both relevant and appropriate to your business model and what you're looking for. Here's another testimonial, Trinity Pharma. Now, one thing that I'd really like to show is the statistics since we've gone virtual. Now, since we have gone virtual from the beginning of the pandemic, you can see here we've been extremely successful. We've set up over 193,000 one-on-one interactions. Well, these stats were from the beginning of the year, so it's already a lot more now that we're in Q2. Again, over 630 programs, and we've helped more than 6,700 suppliers. And one good stat to kind of highlight and pinpoint there is that 56% of our buyers have set follow-up timelines between 1 and 2 weeks post the program or post that meeting with the supplier, which is extremely well received by our suppliers. As you're all very well aware, sometimes it can take months before a buyer that you've had a meeting with to come back to you. I would like to show a little snapshot here of some of the European retailers we're working with. One good thing to highlight as well is that in Europe, at least, the category-specific programs are split into 3 main industries, food and beverage being one of the big ones. We also do beauty and personal care, and healthy living, which incorporates nutraceuticals, vitamins, supplements, and healthcare, so even OTC products. And here is a snapshot of some examples of products that are in stores today by virtue of an ECRM RangeMe solution. And as you can see, yeah, I'm not sure if it's too small there, but these mostly cover entire product ranges. So buyers aren't going there or a meeting with our suppliers via our programs just for 1 or 2 products. They really want to incorporate that supplier as part of their business and build on that partnership going forwards. Now, how does it work? And I'll leave this slide up for a little minute so you can also read. Now, in the first instance, like I mentioned, you would have an introductory meeting with your, let's say, respective sales manager. For Finland, that happens to be myself. So again, we'll share my calendar link. If you want to have a conversation, have a little 30-minute Teams meeting in a diary, I would be more than happy and welcome the opportunity to find out about your business and capabilities. But we do that because we want to ensure that the products and capabilities that you have are a match with our retail buying partners. Again, we only work with category buyers, and each category buyer has a specific product focus, and we want to ensure that what you're selling is also aligned with what they're looking for. And that's how we create that agenda accordingly. But following that meeting, the ECRM team is then very heavily involved at your disposal every step of the way and of the process to ensure that your experience with ECRM is a successful one. So you can see here, first of all, you sign up, we'd get your participation in place. You provide the detail, we provide the rest. So you give us your capabilities, if you can offer private label opportunities, what your brands and product SKUs are, your wow factor, the unique story behind the founding of your company. We take all of that information and showcase it to all of the buyers. And this is done by your dedicated, we call them client success managers. So as soon as you signed up, they will be dedicated to your account and profile. They'll help you with that preparation and then assist you. And it very much is a hand-holding process throughout the entire program. If you have any questions, if you need help with how to properly present, we cover it all. All you need to do is provide us the detail. We set up the meeting. If you're happy with the agenda, you can decide whether you wish to proceed with the program or not. So following that, once we've done all the preparation, we've created your preliminary agenda and you're happy to go ahead, you then meet with these buyers. And you can choose either a 10 or a 20-minute package. The process is the same and the package is the same for all programs. Again, depending on the size of the program, if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 days, that's the only difference in the prices there, but they're all either 10 or 20 minutes with each buyer. And again, one good thing to highlight here is when you do go to, for example, exhibitions, you take up the whole day to be at the event. Our programs, we try and schedule the meetings between 1 p.m. to about 5, 6 p.m. So there's about 3 to 4 hours of back-to-back meetings with intermittent breaks, but it doesn't mean you have to take the full day off work. So you can work all the way through your morning, have your lunch, and then do the back-to-back meetings in the afternoon. And one slide here is also the ECRM Connect. So that's the software that we own, and we have our own technical team that is able to amend and revise a program and software according to supplier and buyer feedback. But the best way I can describe it is very much like Microsoft Teams, but just very much kind of enhanced. You can still do your, again, like it says here, features video conferencing, meeting management. You're able to upload your products. You see the supplier and buyer profile, so exactly who you're meeting with. You can save notes. You can use those notes for your follow-up as well. And it's very, very intuitive. A week before every program, if you're a supplier and you've signed up, the customer success manager will schedule a demonstration just so you can familiarize yourself with the platform, so you know how it works, you know how to share your screen, etc., and most importantly, to ensure that internet connection is working good, your microphone and your camera. And then lastly, once you've met with everyone, it's the follow-up. So we actually have a follow-up page where you can see every single buyer that you've met with, if they are not interested, if they are interested in doing business with you, or if they would consider you in the future. And you can take all of that information away with you, follow up, send your samples. We can even arrange for samples to already be with the buyers if that's a fundamental part of your sales pitch. Of course, in food and beverage and health and beauty, sometimes the taste, the feel, the scent is important. So for your high priority buyer meetings that are on your agenda, if it's imperative that we put samples in front of them, we can also do that. And that mitigates the only kind of, I would say, downfall with a digital meeting is the fact that they can't feel your products, but we can mitigate that. And you can see there as well, the meetings ranking 74% are 4-star or above. Out of 5, might I add, not 10. Now, before there we go. Let me come back on here because it automatically plays. Before I end my presentation, I did want to provide a short clip of an interview that we did recently with a supplier from the UK, that's Borna Foods, who have attended multiple ECRM programs in the past. They provide a very honest opinion. I did have a potential Finnish supplier that I would have loved to have here speaking. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. So without further ado, there's just a few minutes here where you see the experience of a recent supplier.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a nice idea just to have a conversation with somebody who has used the platform and been a participant at ECRM events in the past. Tell us a little bit about who Borna are, first of all, just to bring you to life to people that don't know you.
Hi, my name is Benham. I'm the founder of Borna Foods. Borna Foods established in 2014. We are a nuts and dry fruit importer, mostly pistachio, almond, and cashew. And we also a small food manufacturer who produce nut butters such as pistachio, almond, and cashew nut butters. And well, I'm not working for ECRM, so today I'm just going to share my knowledge, and I'm not getting any commission, so I'm going to be very, very honest today with everyone. And well, if you have any questions, Sandra, I'm happy to answer.
That sounds fair enough, doesn't it? I think. So yeah, perhaps tell us about the program that you did take part in and what your experience was of working on that one.
Well, yeah, I have. I think we have attended 3 times during the last 2 years, and being honest with you, it was very, very successful. We listed several companies through the ECRM, and one of them was Ocado. And so if I want to talk about the buyers, they were really serious, and so they search and study about our brand before they join to the meeting, which was very important for us. And so we still follow up. You know, we still emailing some of the buyers which we had from BFO, I mean the last one. And in terms of companies, they are all serious, big, and of course there have been some small companies, so some small buyers, but I found it very, very useful, and it's one of the best and cost-effective way to list with the big buyers. Because if you want to go to attend CL, Anuga, or even IAP, you have to spend at least around £5,000 to £10,000. And well, during the COVID it's even more expensive. But with ECRM it's much cheaper. So you're going to have meetings here in your office, I mean virtually, and it's much easier and much cost-effective way to create a network, I think.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I think it's interesting what you said about the retailer researching you, because a point I think we've made a couple of times today is about making sure that the producer has done their research. But I think it's really encouraging that the retailers are engaged enough that they're doing the research back again. So that's good to hear. One question we get asked is about the length of the meetings. 10 minutes doesn't sound very long.
Can you try to put everything you want in 10 minutes and practice, then you're going to have 4 to 5 minutes to talk and 4 to 5 minutes to answer questions. And I found it was absolutely fine, because the beauty of this meeting is that you need to really prepare, and you need to just go straight to the points that you want the buyer to hear. So 10 minutes was absolutely enough.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And your sort of rough balance of 4 to 5 minutes of presenting yourself and then them asking the questions, that's good sort of insights for people that haven't done it before. You mentioned trade shows, and yeah, I think everyone agrees now that there's a role to play for both of these. Trade shows themselves, it's a good way of catching up with existing customers, of tasting the product, having the product in hand. As a business, are you still combining the two? You're still doing trade shows? As
you know, we attended Anuga. We're going to attend IFE and also CL Paris. But ECRM is always on our table, so is a combination of both, I think.
And is private label something that you do, Benham? Was the advice that was shared earlier? Do you think that's
we do it for some export clients. We do the private label for some export clients, and we are BRC. We are not still BRC food manufacturer, but BRC agent and brokers, but we're in process to get our BRC as well. So then we can have even more clients.
Yeah. One of the other comments and one of the benefits of us joining up with ECRM is that when we've run our own Meet the Buyer events, they've been very much distributor led. So we would invite international distributors to connect with UK suppliers to then find routes to market. How do you find dealing directly with the retailer? Do they tend to come with the solution of are they buying direct, or do they tend to work through distributors? Is there a standard?
Yeah, some of the small retailers, they ask us to list our products with distributors in their country. So they introduce us to those distributors. So we talk to them, and we're still trying to list with them. And this Brexit really slow everything down, unfortunately. And well, I don't want to talk about Brexit here, but yeah. But yes, they always have a solution for it.
And just before, make sure I'm not muted. I don't think I am. Just a couple more testimonials here from Co-op, Baden-Baden, TFG. We will share the presentation, of course, once it's concluded as well. So you'll have access to all of this if you want to kind of revisit everything that we've spoken about today. But yes, the last thing I would like to conclude on is, if you do want to grow and find buyers, new buyers, please get in touch with myself or Willem, and we can help you move forward during these uncertain times.
Thank you so much, Bruno and William. And I mean, you're really one of the leading matchmakers and now on these digital platforms. And I've also talked to many buyers who said that now they really prefer this way of working. They don't need to travel, spend many days on the trade show, but they can just do the Teams calls from their office and then agree about the samples, etc., etc. So I wish you good luck with the further steps, and thank you so much for your presentations, and thank you everybody, the Finnish companies, for joining today. And in case you have any questions, please feel free to contact us anytime. So now I wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you for your participation.